All right, everybody. Corey here, episode 4 of me dropping some knowledge. So, today we're going to be learning how to read the treble and the bass clef. So, essentially, what a clef is pretty much you can call it a pitch identifier, a note identifier, right? So, with staff music, sheet music, we have 5 lines, right? And 4 spaces. Right now, it's a blank slate. There's nothing there. And if I was to go ahead and write, put a note on this line, we wouldn't know what it is because there's no clef right there. So, the clef, specifically the treble clef, goes on over to the far left, right? So now that we have this clef, now we'll be able to identify what these lines and what these spaces are called. Okay? So, this is the treble clef. And the treble clef identifies higher notes that's going up the instrument, whether it's the piano, guitar. You can use the treble clef for, you know, different types of instruments, but commonly used with, piano and guitar and more, right? So now we have the different names of the lines and the spaces. So treble clef is also called the G clef. Now that's a whole another musical history lesson in itself, but pretty much the notes stems from the G line. So if you want to kind of have a sort of cheat code, right? Cheat sheet. The treble clef circles around the G line. So now you know your first note, which would be G. All right. So if we know that it follows the notes and the lines and the spaces follows the musical alphabet, what note will be before G? F. And then before F, E. All right. So then now that you should be able to kind of recognize the pattern now, right? So the musical alphabet starts with A and ends with G. So after G, the next note would be A. And we just gonna keep going on, right? Because now you starting to recognize the pattern. And you don't really have to sit and guess as much. Because now that you know about the musical alphabet, if you didn't know, here we are. So we got line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, right? An easy way to remember is for the lines, oops, every good boy does fine. And if I just put a box around each letter, it follows the order of these notes from bottom to top. Every good boy does fine. It can literally be whatever you want, but that's just how most of us were, taught. And FACE, I like to just say space, let's see. Let's put it right here. Space equals face. Right? Smooth that over a bit so y'all can see that. Space equals face. Right? So we got lines. Every good boy does fine. And then we just have it up right here. Every good boy does fine. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Right? So that's all the treble clef right there. Treble clef, also called the G clef. The lines next to the treble clef. Every good boy does fine. Space equals face. All right? So now we're going to get into the bass clef. So usually the treble clef and the bass clef will be right below each other, but just for the sake of me saving some space, I'm gonna skip and go down here just so I have room to write it out, like this for y'all. So we're gonna get started. We got the bass clef. You see it starts on a certain line. Bow. Just like that. So this is the bass clef. So bass clef is also called the F clef. If you're a piano player, you would play that. When you see this, you play it with your left hand usually, and it's for the lower notes. So the bass clef is called the F clef. So we have it right here, starting off on the F line, right? So what we're gonna do? Put my little dot right there. You already know the name of it because of where it stems from, where it starts. So F, right? And it's the same concept. Follow the musical alphabet. So what comes before F in the in the alphabet? Probably don't even have to tell you. E. And we just gonna just truck on through and get this done. All right. And then we can just finish this off at the top. All right. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So follows the same concept of the musical alphabet. Now you'll notice it starts on a different note, but that's because each of these clefs starts on a different line of the staff, right? So we're gonna do our little acronym for this. So the lines of the bass clef is G, B, D, F, and A. So we can come up with our little phrase for that. I personally like good boys do fine always. Right? We're just gonna circle it around, we'll box it. So remember, it starts from the bottom to the top, bottom, the top, just like that. Good boys do fine always. And then this time with the space notes, we can do all cows eat grass. Box that off. Remember, bottom to top. All cows eat grass. Just like that. All cows eat grass. Right? So there you have it. So with reading music and just practicing it, it's just a matter of just practicing it. Take your favorite little nursery rhymes, find some sheet music, um, online. What's the what's an example? Bingo was his name. I can't remember remember the actual name right now. I'm drawing a blank, but just sit there and practice it 5 minutes a day. You got apps and stuff on your phone that you can use, and all sorts of stuff. So remember, like I always said, if you ever have a question or anything, let me know. I got the paper positioned right here for you just in case if you want to take a screenshot or anything like that. But yeah, just let me know if you ever have any questions. Let me know if it's anything else you would like me to cover in the comments. And peace out, y'all. Take it easy.